I tried.
Mr. Pete with your shiny new Telecaster.
Yeah, look at this thing. That's beautiful, isn't it? We do guitars that are not relict. This is a 60s.
Nothing to do with me.
Mic drop. You know, look at this thing. It's a 1960s custom Telecaster with a flaming neck and everything, all the goodness. Anyway, welcome.
Exactly.
To Andertons TV.
You are back with us, and today the mad scientist that is Loki Davidson of Poly Effects has entered the amp in a pedal room with the Poly Ample.
Ample.
Is it?
Is it ample?
I think it probably is.
You know what? If you take all the letters in ample, and it's like please like and subscribe.
It actually almost is, isn't it?
Yeah, because we really want to get to 1 million this year. We're pushing. Come on, we're pushing.
We're pushing.
For it. And only 60%, is it? I don't know. It's not
60% of you aren't subscribed.
Exactly. Please,
have a
just
word with
click
yourself.
It. We really want. You can win a clon and other stuff. Anyway,
now,
go on, Lee.
There are lots of pedals that are now, you know, you can buy expensive ones, cheap ones, whatever, and they all claim to sound like a guitar amplifier. Mm-hmm. Some through it do digital model. Some do it through digital modelling. I need to take these teeth back to where I bought them from. Hang on. And some do it through profiling or capturing, whatever they call it. The Poly one is a little bit different, sort of. Some the same, some different. Loki, who runs Poly, and you'll know that last year in our sort of Gear of the Year video, I voted his reverb pedal as my favourite thing.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
He is into this whole IR capturing thing, and apparently these pedals have insane levels of DSP.
Yeah.
And what Loki has done is he has personally found 56, I think, famous guitar amplifiers, from clean through crunch, through hyper crunch, through bass.
Yeah.
And he's profiled.
Yeah.
So using his own sort of
technology.
Yeah. Those words. Put them in the pedal. This is where you got your head around this. This is capturing, but you can't capture your own. So you have to accept that you like Loki's 56 amplifiers. I spoke to him about, you know, are we likely to see an upgrade path over the years of more amps? He said, no, that's not the plan. This is like, there's your 56 amplifiers. Yeah. You find the ones you like. You have some limited control over what you can do in terms of, you know, gain and bass treble and all that kind of stuff. There is reverb built in. I think he said it's some crazy IR from the Shepherd's Bush Empire or something like that. Yeah. And he sort of described it as, imagine a bit like those sort of UAD amp pedals, where it's like, that's what you get. That's what you get.
But you get 50 of them.
Exactly that. Ha! So that's it. Pete's kind of got it, right?
Yeah.
So it's sort of loads but limited. Price wise, it's kind of in the mix. I think it's $3.99, so it's, you know, it's similar kind of dough to UAD.
It's much better dough, but if you weigh them up and say you have to buy the Vox one, the Marshall one, the Thing one, and then the Thing one and Thing two.
It's full MIDI. So obviously you can recall your zillion million different presets like this. And honestly, I think if you were live, you probably would have to go down the MIDI route because it's not really laid out to easily change presets and patches.
No.
But it's using his touchscreen tech, which he's used for years now. And you know, is this idea that you're just basically sort of, you know,
I think that's cool.
dragging and dropping.
I think that's cool.
So I think what we're going to try and do is go through as many of the amps as we possibly can. We're using mono in, stereo out at the moment. We can start to mix and match where we'll have one amp on one side and one amp on the other, but we're not doing that yet. We've got a double Durple in the front, and a more reverb, although we don't need it, and delay through the loop.
No,
which we should.
Loop. We're not going to the loop.
There is no loop.
There is no
absolutely
loop.
Right.
It's very simple in that way. There's input and output, but it is a stereo output. Has a stereo input? I'm not sure.
No, I don't think. That's a good question. I don't think so.
Okay.
Stereo input.
It is a stereo input.
TRS stereo input. Apologies.
There you go.
So all of our ambient effects are just after the output, which is fine.
Yeah.
We're going into our interface. We're listening through a pair of Genelec 8050s, and you're listening through whatever you're listening to.
40s.
But no, is it 40s? I thought we had the 50s in here. Sorry, 40s. And obviously we're not using amplifiers. So that first sound that you had was Loki's capture of a Fender 1966 Super Reverb 4x10. If we go back to this top section here, you can see I've got clean, crunch, destroy, classic USA,
destroy,
classic UK, Gen X and bass. And then within each of those banks at the top, I've got my 8 different, which you can see down here. I've got 4 parameters in green mode, gain, volume, bass and treble. And then if I hit the thing again, it goes different color. I've got 4 other parameters, which I can't remember. One of them's reverb, but I'll come
I think the
back
one on
to
the
that
side is reverb, yeah.
In a minute, sorry. So I think for the start, really, my gut feeling is you're either going to listen to this and go, holy shit, that's the best amp captures I've ever heard of 56 amplifiers.
Yeah.
That's what I want. Happy days.
Yeah.
Never going to touch anything.
Yeah.
Or you're going to go, no, I want to do my own captures, edit to the nth degree, and you're going to go, right, it's not the pedal for you.
No.
But I've got to admit, in the limited time that we've had with this, it sounds mental.
Yeah, it sounds
mentally good. The reverb's good, and the A button is a boost switch. So anyway.
Some will even say sounds.
You can't say that. Dr. Z Stangray is the very first one. Let me have a listen, Mr. Pete.
Can I just say, herein lies the problem. I've never played one of those amplifiers, so I could not tell you whether this sounds like it or not, but it sounds good.
I'm going to go minimum, that is going to apply to 50% of the amps that are on here.
Exactly.
So I tell you what then, let's go to the first one that we have played, which is the Tone King Imperial Mark II. Here we go.
I feel a comparison coming on.
I forgot to
good,
mention,
man.
Loki has profiled every single one of these with and without a speaker. So there's a mode that this will work in where it's just the amp, then you can run it through your own IRs or your own whatever you want to do, or effects return if you want to. But we're using it in the mode where they're all captured with the speaker.
So you got 50 of the preamps. You
56,
could use 56 if you had a clean amp at home.
Yep. I'm going to go with a
Clever
Magnatone Twilighter because it's a magnificent, clean sounding amplifier.
Could you turn the reverb up a little bit for me on this one? So
You go here, and then I think it's on the, there you go.
I want to play it a lot.
Does it take a pedal?
Yeah, let's try the double side. It does?
It's, again, the sensation with most of these pedals is less about does it sound like the amplifier and more about does it feel like you're in the room with the amplifier.
Yeah.
And the good ones do both.
Yeah.
So like most of them nowadays do sound like the amplifier.
Yeah.
But still leave
It's
you
a
with a
feeling
sensation that you're not in the room with the amplifier. This feels like we're in the room with the amplifier.
It's good.
Let's try again. I don't know if Loki's doing tons of videos himself where you can see every single one. Maybe, I don't know, if we have time, maybe over on channel 2, Anderton's channel 2, maybe we could shoot a different video where you just literally have 20 seconds on each one.
Oh,
That's a shout, because that wouldn't take us long to do. Maybe we'll do that.
But
anyway, crunch mode now.
And if you click that again, then you go back to page 1. So page 1, page 2. Okay.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right.
So this is a Fuchs ODS 100.
You go Fuchs yourself.
Exactly.
Question for you.
Yeah.
Does it save? You don't have to save anything.
Correct.
So now if you went back to the other one, the reverb would still be, let's say
I don't know,
I just
actually.
did that.
Yeah.
So let's say I just put, so if I put lots of reverb on.
Yeah, and then go to number 3 and then go back
number
again.
2. I think I remember that you have to hold it down.
You're right. You have to you do have to save it. It's not
But I think you just hold the one down, don't you?
That's right. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Because they're all like, they've got different functionalities, the buttons, right, when you touch them. Correct?
I should tell you, when it's in its secondary mode, it basically becomes, okay, so gain is how bright are the LEDs, super important to your ultimate tone. The volume becomes the volume of the boost control, in other words, when you engage A. Bass becomes mid-range and treble becomes reverb.
Right.
That's when it's in this sort of like multicolored blue and green mode. Anyway.
I like it.
So,
next one. Just get
I'm going to do a bad cat now. So these, as you can hear, these are all your little bit of hair now. We've got a Morgan JS12 in here, numero 6.
Josh Smith. Oh, that's fat, man. That sounds great.
We've done a bit of, we got reverbs and delays on the floor to go extra. The fact that there's no effects loop and we're putting all this stuff afterwards, I've really never encountered a big issue with adding sort of ambient effect. I mean, that's essentially what happens. If you add reverb through your DAW, then you are adding it afterwards at the end, aren't you? So I've never really felt that was a big issue. You want to hear an amplifier we've never heard of?
I would love to.
Bruno Underground. If you're playing Bruno Mars stuff, perhaps you need a Bruno Underground. That is number 7.
It's lost in a dream.
I feel a change of guitar might be necessary as we're about to go into the Destroy bank. So, Destroy, where we have Engels and 5150s and Diesels and all the higher gain stuff.
Sometimes I have a Destroy bank as well.
Can I just say as well, thank you, Loki. Victory has finally been recognised by an amp modelling company, and the Sheriff 44 is one of the amps in the crunch mode.
And that's a good amp as well.
I think that's a first for Victory. Whoa!
Holy
Here's
smoky.
a Powerball.
That's not the Powerball, is it?
That isn't. No, is it?
Yeah.
That's a Fireball.
A Fireball, not Powerball.
Yeah.
Fireball.
No noise gate, as you can hear. You will need an external one of those if you want to gate the hum, the hiss. Let's try number 2, which is a 5150. How that does sound. I mean,
It's got that. It does have that Van Halen sound.
They haven't dialed that in with bucket loads of gain, have they? So it's got that more.
I think he nailed that, because don't dial too much gain in. You can always put more gain on. You can never take gain off again.
Bogner Uberschall. Oh, it's spiky.
And then you know what? I don't mind it's noisy, because amps are noisy. That's
Real
what it
amps
is.
would be noisy, I agree. And you can't hear it while you're playing, can you? Classic USA has all your classic Fenders and then a Music Man and a Silvertone at the end. So let's go with the classic 62 Princeton.
I'm going to go spring on
put
top.
more reverb? You're doing that external.
It's there. Yes, there it is.
It's a good sound.
It's a good sound. That's the golden reverberate score.
We'll try a twin, and remember again, channel 2, if you want to hear them all, we'll whiz through them separately.
Yeah. He's got sunshine.
Classic UK, a home of some amazing guitar amplifiers over the years. We've got high watts, Sound Cities, Voxes, Matamps, Oranges, Marshalls, of course. We've even got a Watkins Dominator.
Really?
Yes.
That is powerful.
So let's try the high watt, as we love that.
You know what? We did the high watt video. High watt video, and I was super. The clean sounds out of those amps
Epic.
are just incredible and so right in your face.
Let's try a JTM 45.
With a bit of double.
How cool is this? If I go into Gen X, the very first one isn't even an amp. It's an ADA MP1. Like, we're going full 80s magic here, so.
Sounds good. I saw a Danish guitar player was selling an ADA rack and something else underneath for like $450.
Wow.
That sounds good.
Would have been a Rocktron Intel-Effects and a Boogie.
I think it was. No, he just had the ADA and then something. Anyway.
Speaking of Boogie, let's try a Mark IV. And let's try a Soldano.
Oh.
Whilst we haven't even shown you the boost thing, how does that work?
That's good. That was good, man.
Man, I sort of get it. I like the fact, actually, that what Loki has come up with is just a slightly different niche. It's like, it's not just another, you know, alternative to a Kemper or alternative to a UAD or whichever it is. It's like, it's a blend of all those technologies and him just going, yeah, I'm just going to have this twist. Might not appeal to 90% of you, but it might be the perfect thing for 10% of you. I don't know. I like it.
I tell you what, it's a bit like the Ox, isn't it? Where they just give you this. Yes. They're not giving you over the like IR loading and all that stuff that you don't need.
Do you want to just play a bit of bass for 2 seconds? I don't know, like Mark King.
Slap of the bass.
Slap of the bass.
Okay, Sire.
Indeed, Ampeg SVT profile.
That sounds good. I like it. Did you give him a little bit?
I liked that. A Sun beta bass through a 215. Oof.
Wow. That's a nice...
Where it all began, a Fender Bassman.
I like that.
I like this a lot. So the more I play with this, the more I get into it. So
that's normally what happens.
The last thing we're going to do is go back to playing guitar, and I'm going to set this up in its stereo mode, so you can have one amp on the left, different amp on the right, each set separately. My only wish, and this isn't currently functionality of this, is you can't save a dual amp setup as a preset, so you have to sort of make it on the fly and then use it.
Right.
Loki did say he thought there was probably a finicky way of using MIDI to create that, but yes, as a basic preset, it can only be one of these 56 amplifiers, and then essentially you sort of make it on the fly, use it, and then that's it. When you switch it off,
if you have to do it on a gig, is that what you mean?
Well, I think I don't know, it might be a bit of a faff if you were at a gig, but I think in a studio you could make your dual amp thing. Yeah, but he was saying if you're using MIDI, he thought there was a way of doing this. So anyway, back to the guitar, and we'll choose a couple of amplifiers to do that with. We're in channel split mode now. You can see basically I have an orange amplifier, not the brand orange LED amplifier, and a pink amplifier. And all I got to do is basically now adjust each one. So what are you fancy?
So we just for and giggles, so you can hear what it is, let's get like a clean on one side. So
what about an edge of breakup on one side and something slightly dirtier on the other?
Edge of breakup.
What about something from the USA and something from the UK and some sort of like transatlantic, like a Bad Cat and a yeah, you could do a game. It's not probably the most famous two-rock though, is it? But a Bad Cat and like a Matt amp or something, or a JTM. Bad Cat and a JTM.
Yeah,
that's got to sound good, isn't it? So what's the Bad Cat?
That's number 3 on Crunch.
3 Crunch. So that
I go 3. I like the logos are crisps.
I go number 3 Crunch. Okay, is my orange amp.
And then Classic UK.
And then I click this.
It's a cup of tea.
And what's Classic UK? Which one?
What are you laughing at? Number 7.
So here we go. Here is my orange, illuminations are the Bad Cat, and my pink illuminations are the JTM.
That's weird, man. And you know what you could do?
We've probably got a hard pan in here.
Yeah, we have a hard pan, so you're down the middle.
Yeah, you'd probably mix this differently. You could put different effects on either side if you wanted to.
And what you could do is that you could have a stereo split with a cable out, and you could have 2 different overdrives on, so you could, and then come out into 2 different reverbs and 2 different delays, right?
So you
can have wet on one side and dry on the other, and a tremolo on one of the sides. Oh, there's so many options.
I mean, what would be another classic layered guitar amp sound? Is it like, should we have a Soldano and a JCM 800 or something like?
Yes.
Let's see what we do here. So I go back to my orange side amp, and I say I want to be in Classic UK, and I want, oh no, it's not Classic UK, is it? It's Gen X, and I want to be
Gen X, that's so funny.
JCM thingy. And then my pink amplifier, I also want to be in Gen X, but I want to be the Soldano number 8. And that's it. That should be my 2 amps on either side.
But we have them panned in the room now.
Well, look,
That's cool.
that's
But
a
it
little
doesn't save
run
that, sorry.
through. It won't save
Right.
that as a preset.
Right.
But I was just thinking, if you've got 56 amplifiers and you as single amps, and you can link that with another one, don't you have 56 times 56 combinations? So don't you have 2,500 or whatever? What even is 56 times 56?
Hey Siri.
Yeah. So there you go. Look, I really like that. I love the angle that Loki's done. I'm not saying necessarily you're going to like it better than what you've already got, but there will be some people watching this going, "That's perfect.
That's what I need."
I think that the amp modeling that he's done, and this is from someone that, again,
Capturing, profiling.
yeah,
It's not
profiling.
modeling.
So one of the things I find the most frustrating when I'm fiddling with Kempers and Neurals and all that kind of stuff is this sense you've got to go through 10,000 presets to find the 20 that you like.
Oh yeah.
And this does feel like he's sort of done it. He's gone, there you go, 56 mega amplifiers. I've profiled it perfectly. Load them, bosh, go.
And if you want pictures,
What's the problem?
And if you want pictures,
Yeah.
just look at that.
There's no app. It's just, people who have got other Poly products will know that he has a slightly weird way of doing firmware updates. So although it has a USB socket, you can't connect it to your computer. It's all about loading the update onto a flash drive and then plugging it in, and it does the update like that. But look,
I think it's very cool. Links below.
Yeah, links
That's it.
below, absolutely. And dive on over to channel 2 if you do want to hear Pete play all 56 guitar amplifiers. Thank you so much. Yeah, congratulations, Loki. Hope you sell loads. See you next time.